Years ago, when I was a guest of the state of Kentucky, I prayed and asked God to teach me how to play piano or keyboards. And I told him if he would teach me, I would play for him. And I did that for many, many, many years until I gave up, if you will. I haven't played regularly for years. And today I prayed and I said, God, if possible, use this situation that I've been going through to minister to others through song. I haven't written a song in so long, I can't even remember. But for the first time in a while, I came over here and turned this keyboard, set it up, and this tune started coming. And I hope that it becomes a song that is able to minister to others who are going through a dark, dark valley. I don't have a name for it. I don't even have words for it. It's just a tune that has come to me. So I'm going to see what happens here. That was a mess up. This is literally like 10 or 15 minutes old. And because of the damage to my memory, I wanted to try and get the structure of this down lest I forget it. So we try again. if this continues to play in my head, if it doesn't disappear, then I'm believing it will become a song. That's how it's worked in the past. The tune, even when I'm not playing it, will just play over and over in my head. And then it's like a story would begin to form in my mind. I know with this, I feel like it's gonna be a message of hope. That, and that right there, in the middle of, I don't know. But anyway, that's I guess what I'm trying to do is just document this tune and to give a glimpse into how songs come to me, how God brings songs to me. Next month will be a year ago that my life was turned upside down. And it's been a year of pain, sorrow, pain, tears, sorrow, reflection, searching for answers. I've learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what happens when you forsake what God has, the call that He has on your life, when you forsake it for emotional reasons, for love or chivalry. It doesn't matter if it goes against the call He has on our lives, then it doesn't matter what your intentions are. It will eventually lead to disaster. I hope that this whole thing, it is my belief that one day God will have me before people sharing what this whole experience was like, and hopefully encourage others to not forsake the call on their lives, because there's pleasure in sin for a season. God will let you be disobedient if that's what you choose. But then there comes a payday. There comes a reaping of the harvest, because you've sown seeds of disobedience, seeds of I want what I want. This feels good to me, so I want it. And, well, we just have to be willing to suffer whatever the consequences are. I lost my home. I lost my possessions. And most importantly, I lost my first love with Jesus. And I lost the love of having the beauty, the warmth, the satisfaction of having my children in my life every day. All of it taken away because I chose to believe in a person rather than in God. I chose to listen to my emotions and my desires rather than listening to the admonishment and caution of the brethren around me telling me don't go down this path. Don't go down this path. But spiritually speaking, I stuck my fingers in my ear and I was la 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 la, and I ignored it. So here I am in a borrowed apartment, a borrowed keyboard, borrowed furniture. And yet, in spite of my disobedience, in spite of turning my back on God, yes, I've had to suffer these past 11 months. A year, be a year the 16th of next month. But in the suffering, He's provided for me. Not one day, not one single day have I had to live on the street or in my vehicle. From the very first day, that very first night when sheriff's deputies came to evict me from my home, God had someone there who I was a mess. I was distraught. I was bewildered. I was confused. I was traumatized, and I couldn't even. Someone had to lead me around by my arm and ask me, "Where's your underwear? Where's your socks? Don't forget your medications." And that person put me up in a hotel that night and the next night. And for 12 more nights after that, until they got me a one-bedroom apartment. Well, they had a one-bedroom apartment that they let me stay in. Just so I'd be able to have a roof over my head and a place where I could have time with my children. That little one-bedroom apartment became a sanctuary for me. I spent so many nights and desperate, please, God, help me understand. God, please help me through the next few minutes. Help me through the next hour. Help me through the next day. was months and months and months before I could even begin to formulate any kind of a plan or I shudder to think what would have happened if that person hadn't been there that night. I still, even now, when I think back on what happened that night, I still can't wrap my head around it. You think you know someone. You choose to believe them. You choose to, in spite of what your eyes show you and what you sense in your spirit, this doesn't look right. This doesn't sound right. This doesn't feel right. And you say something to that person, and it's, oh no. Where in the world's that coming from? And you choose to ignore what that voice is trying to tell you. You choose to believe in the person who, I'm telling you now, where's that coming from? Well, I have been, by choice, I have been alone for 11 months. Other than when I'm allowed to see my children, or when I go to the supermarket, or when I go to a doctor's appointment, or when I go to church, or when I see my therapist. I have remained in seclusion because I want this to mean something. I want this to teach me. I want God to use this to wake me up and to understand how I was able to get myself to this point. I had an amazing life. I was a business owner. Trips to other countries. Trips across America. I had a good name. I had honor and respect amongst my peers. And I threw it all away for love. But God didn't forsake me. I forsook him. And he has forgiven me. And I know he has. But I'm trying to learn to forgive myself. I focused on rekindling my first love with my Lord. And I focused on pouring my love out on my children. Little RJ, my Bubby RJ, and my Anna Banana. my two babies, my loverlies. I miss them every day, every moment that I'm apart from them. I'm thankful that I do get to see them at times. But the fact that I'm their father. I have been their father from before they were born. I was there at every doctor's appointment, every prenatal appointment, everything. And then to go from having them in my life every day to what it is now. It's unbelievable. I would have never, ever believed that my children would be taken away from me. Legally. But when God is not your focus, when being led by the Holy Spirit is not your desire, when being led by your emotions and what you want, what you think, what you feel, when that's your focus, I've learned you're capable of doing anything. We are capable of doing anything to the ones we say we love. I can't imagine other people going through this. I mean, thinking that they have a wonderful family dynamic, a loving family, and then out of nowhere, devastation. I think of all the millions of children who have gone through the same thing. The millions of spouses who were caught unawares, or some say with their pants down. They chose to believe in a person rather than in Him first and foremost. Now, I think it's good to believe in your spouse, but it shouldn't override and supersede the voice of God and His Holy Spirit. I mean, my goodness. It's like the blind leading the blind. And anyway, this is not what I started out to do with this. I just really wanted to document this tune. But it started coming out, so, it is what it is. But I'm going to end by playing this tune one more time. Hopefully I won't mess up this time.